All right, so let's check the project. So which recipe is this for?
The Texas pecan honey sauce.
Okay. So apricot preserves on the semester project note says 293 for 18 ounces.
Yeah.
So you have that amount?
Oh, give me 1 second. Um, which one was it? The preserves?
Yes.
Are they in there?
So they're on the semester project notes.
Oh,
Yeah. So if you ever find that you don't see an ingredient in the Chef Tech inventory list, chances are I'm going to give you the specific ingredient on the semester project notes.
no, yeah. I'm sorry. I've been looking at
That's
the
okay.
semester notes. I didn't notice.
Yeah, that's all good.
Thank you so much. Okay, well,
You're
I mean,
welcome.
I just needed to know that. I know how to do
Okay.
the. All right.
Sweet.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Um, who had a question in here? Yes, go ahead. The Dijon mustard? Okay. Okay, say that one more time. What is the amount? Okay. Okay. Cool. And how much do you need for the recipe? 2 teaspoons. Okay. Cool. So when we look at the Chef Tech inventory list, right here where it says 29.39 for 12 at 8 ounces, basically what that means is there's 12 jars that are 8 ounces each. So what is the total number of ounces for that case? Uh-huh. So it's 12 at 8 ounces. So another way we could write this is $29.39 for how many ounces? For 96 ounces total. Okay. So only the subtotal is wrong. Okay. So probably the reason why the subtotal is wrong, that's the only one that's wrong, is because you're within the margin of error for all the ingredients, but maybe you're outside the margin of error for the subtotal. Okay. So like let's say it's 2 cents on each ingredient, but then maybe I only give you 6 cents total on the margin of error for the subtotal. Um, if you're outside of that margin of error, then you may be wrong. But the key answer is going to be that per portion cost. So if you have the per portion cost correct, if you have everything correct except for the subtotal, I would just say move on to the next recipe. Yeah. As long as you have that per portion cost in the bottom correct. Now, of course, I'd rather you have the majority of them correct. If there's anyone that's like blatantly wrong, then we can look at that. But if it's the subtotal, that's okay. All right. Ryan, did you have any questions?
Well, mustard route, I divided to get one, right, for one dart and
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. The other thing that when you think about doing that though, like because I typically will divide by 96 ounces, right? Um, you don't want to round up to the nearest penny until you get to that last answer, right? So what I would do in this case is $29.39 divided by 12 jars, okay? And then I'll just keep that number in there and then divide by the 8 ounces. And so then that at that point, I'd round up to 31 cents per ounce. Because if you round up and then divide again and then round up, then you're double rounding. So that's going to impact your answer. Yeah.
well, I mean, so I was on the chicken marinade, that everything right except the subtotal. And I don't understand how that,
Okay.
everything else was right. Like, everything else, all the rest we done, all were correct. But
Yeah.
you can get the,
Okay. Give me one moment. I'm going to I'm going to pause the recording. So there's a margin of error of 2 cents on most ingredients. There's 1 penny. So if you're within that 2 cents of each one, let's say you're 1 penny off, and there is nine there's 9 ingredients. If you're off by 1 penny, then the bottom you're going to be off by 9 pennies, right? And I have the margin of error set to 2 cents for the subtotal. So that may just be a little. I have it for 5 cents for the recipe total. So I might update that to be 5 cents for that subtotal, and let's see if that makes a change. Because if I'm allowing it to be 5 cents for the recipe total, it makes sense that it would be 5 cents for the subtotal as well. Actually, let me double check this. All right, so Ryan, Sarai, and Caitlin, I went ahead and updated your grade because you were within that 5 cent margin of error for the subtotal, so you don't have to take that quiz over again. All right, good questions. Anybody else have any questions for me? Okay.
it's 2.5 tablespoons to taste for the salt and pepper. So we're still doing like the tablespoon like and cost and we're not doing it to taste.
Let me take a look at that. Menu set to for the vine ripened tomato salad. Yeah, you should have the 2.5 tablespoons. And then the to taste is probably at the end, since there's that comma after it. But let me just double check my semester project notes. Yeah, you're gonna go ahead and use that the 2.5 tablespoons.
Okay.
Um, and then that to taste is what's going to be covered in that Q factor.
And then the other was about that cucumber filling in garden. The ending notes say that in the notes about this much project, the cost of the confectioner sugar as needed will be covered in that 5% Q factor. So we just kind of mark a zero for that.
Yeah, so that garnish for the confectioner sugar is needed, correct. And so if we take a look at let's take a look at the quiz so I can refresh my memory. Yeah, that as confectioner sugars as needed is not even a listed ingredient. So you don't have to worry. I mean, you can put it on there, and then just have a zeroed amount for it on your paper. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? Yep, Xavier. The bacon on the sour cream. Okay. Um, let's take a look at that. Okay, talk me through your process so far. Oh yeah, of course.
Um, for the purchase cost, it was 106.06 cents. And the purchase amount was 225 pounds.
Okay.
And the amount needed was 20 strips.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. So that's where you get stuck? Okay. I'm just gonna ask you some follow-up questions. Have you done the garlic cloves or the red onions for the other recipes? No? Okay, cool. So whatever we talk about here, you're going to apply in those recipes when you get to the red onions and the garlic cloves. Okay? So what does our semester project notes say about bacon?
0.54 ounces.
Okay. So 0.54 ounces per strip of bacon. Okay. So how many ounces is 20 strips of bacon? 20 strips. Let's do it in the calculator to double check.
And 40.
10.8. Okay. So now I have 10.8 ounces. and I've got 25 pounds. Do my units match? No, but can I convert? Which one am I going to convert?
25 pounds.
Okay, good. To what? Okay. And how many ounces is in 25 pounds? You can use your calculator.
Let's go. 50 ounce,
No. How many ounces are in 1 pound?
16.
Okay. So how many's in 25 pounds? 400 ounces, right? So I'm going to say this is 400 ounces, right? Because 25 pounds, that way when I divide by the 400, I automatically get my cost per ounce. Okay. So now let's divide 106.06 by 400 ounces.
And 0.2.
0.26515, right? Okay. So that's going to become what?
Oh no, 25.
27 cents. Okay. So we're going to round this up to 27 cents per ounce. And now do our units match? Okay. Now we can just multiply straight across and get our answer. Joseph, do you still have questions about the apricot preserves?
Yes.
Okay. Talk
I've
me through your
just
process.
okay, so I've done the 2.93 divided by the 18 ounces. Am I starting off correctly with how I
Yep.
should be doing it
Yep.
or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds good.
I got 0.1627 repeating, so I rounded that up to 0.1628 per ounce. And then what I wanted to find because that was the cost per ounce, when I wanted to find the cost per cup. I think this might be where I'm getting it wrong because in the notes it says that the net weight and all of that. So I was kind of confused on exactly what I needed to do. I looked up a little bit around and I've asked some friends and stuff too exactly what I should be doing. And I'm just from what the internet and things were telling me, I should have done 11.3 ounces because that's what it says the average conversion rate for preserves or jams are. But I'm
Okay.
not sure if that's correct because it's
Okay.
not giving me a good answer.
Cool. So, did you use the calculator, the volume to weight calculator?
Yeah, uh, I'm. I looked in there. I used the which preserve did I use? I used one of them, but a lot of them had the exact same weights. It was 0.71 pound or 11.28 ounces, I think. Let me put it in the calculator real quick. Apricot preserve for 1 cup jams preserves apricot 11.29 ounces. And
Okay. Cool. So that all looks correct to me. The one thing that I'm seeing is this number right here, the
okay,
1628.
okay.
Okay. Remember, dollars and cents is only two decimal places.
Okay,
And
okay.
so we're going to want to round this to 17 cents per ounce. That way we have just the two
Mm,
decimals.
yes,
And
yes.
so if we've got 17 cents, then you're off by a cent. And then you're going to multiply by 11 ounces. that's going to put your answer way outside the margin of error.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely would. All right, I'm gonna do the recalculations and see what I come up with. Thank you.
Listen, you're welcome. Anybody else in class have any questions? Esteban came in. Let me check on Zoom, see if I anybody else come in. Nope. Okay. Jeff, I know you sent me an email, but let's go over your question or questions.
Okay, sorry, it wouldn't let me unmute myself. It's actually kind of a complicated personal issue.
Oh,
I was gonna
that's
see if I could like zoom you outside of class.
the email that you sent me recently.
Yes,
The
sir.
most recent. Oh yeah, I got that one. You don't have any questions about any ingredients that are giving you problems?
Not yet, sir. No, sir.
Okay,
Not at the
cool.
moment.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
And kind of very confused on that. Where to start?
Okay. So what is the as purchased per bunch?
Is 1 pound? No, wait, I don't know. It's 6 to 8.
No, what's the as purchased, like the dollar amount from the Chef Tech inventory list?
But
Okay. And how much does that cost?
one,
$1.15? Okay. For 2 bunches. And what do we need for the recipe?
I'm stuck on that part.
No, what's the amount that we need from the recipe for green onions? From menu set 2? What does it say in the recipe that we need? What amount?
Just 2 buckets. Green child.
Let's take a look. Which recipe are we looking at? Okay, here we go. So we need 1 1/3 bunches. All right, you see that right here? Oh, the green onions, sorry. 2 bunches of green onions. That's what we need. And then what is it for the Chef Tech inventory list? Is it $1.15 per bunch? Okay. So for the $1.15 per bunch, so don't necessarily look at that 6 to 8 per each. That just basically means there's 6 to 8 onions per bunch, right? And that's just when it's in parentheses like that, it's a kind of a note to yourself. So let's say, in this case, we're chopping them up, right? So we're just going to be using bunches. Whereas if we were maybe going to put like a whole green onion on something, maybe as like a garnish or some in that regard, then we would want to know that there's 6 to 8 per bunch, right? But if we look at the bunches, do our units already match? Right? Cool. Are we already in the cost of 1 unit? Yep. So now we just simply multiply straight across. Yeah. Any other questions? Yep. Say that one more time. For the final calculations, no, because it's already in the soup. You don't have to put it on the, no, no, don't put it in. All right, so for final calculations, you are on the first option, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what is your question about how to complete this first portion?
So I remember you were talking about not to do the 30% cost for them because it will throw the whole equation off. And I saw in a video that you had them all like laid out in separate ingredients and then like in all combined ingredients for the recipe name. And that's what kind of threw me off because I didn't know if that's how I'm supposed to do it. It does it change the calculation some way?
Yeah. So you're going to, on the recipe name, that's where you're going to put like the sour cream red potatoes, the chicken marinade, the Texas pecan honey sauce. Okay. So for every recipe, basically the title of every quiz that you have,
Yeah.
right, you're going to have a recipe name. And you're going to put that last answer, that per portion cost. That's what you're going to put in this section right here.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what you're going to put right there. And then you're going to calculate individual 30% food costs.
Okay, so I
So,
can do it.
yeah. And so I think what maybe you might have gotten confused with is what I'm saying when we're talking about using the 30% food cost, we
Hmm.
want to use the triangle to figure out what our selling price is. Okay, what we should sell our price, what we should sell that menu item for. Um, And so oftentimes what I see students do, um, in this case, we want to take the cost divided by that 30%, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I see students doing is I see them doing a 30% markup where they're multiplying by 30%.
Okay.
Right. And so that's what I don't want you to do. I want you to do the division using the triangle.
Okay. All right. And
Excellent. And then when you get down to the second method, then you're gonna have to combine some of the recipes, right? The salad's gonna stay the same, the soup's gonna stay the same as far as the cost, but the entree is gonna be the starch, the vegetable, the protein, the sauce. Same thing with dessert. You're gonna have the dessert, the garnish, the sauce, and then the bread is obviously by itself as well.
okay, so that means the total cost is like a separate another method to do it, not the same one put on top.
Yeah, so exactly. So up here, we're looking at just the per portion cost because we're looking at just the one recipe.
Mhm.
But down here, for the entree, the total cost for the entree, why is this not? I don't know why it's not unclicking, but the total cost of the entree is going to be the protein, so basically the rub, the starch, the vegetable, and the sauce,
Okay. Okay, that
right?
makes sense better. Yeah.
That's why it says total cost because that some of the menu categories may include multiple recipes.
Okay. Hmm. All right, I gotta redo that one.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome. Any other questions? Yeah.
He says preserve, but there's no preserve on the inventory list.
If it's not on the Chef Tech inventory list, where would you look? Okay, let's check the notes. So I learned that technique. Actually, I went to a conference about no, I think it was 5 years ago during 2020, January 2020, from a manager who was a general manager for a hotel. And he kept saying, he was like, you can answer the same question over and over again. But if you ask a question, like, where would you find that information? It causes the other person to stop and think, right? I could have just easily told you where that was. But then now, like the next time you come to it, you're like, oh yeah, I should go check the notes. So just with the little kind of management tidbit that I picked up, and it really has helped.
36 blocks in 1 pound.
Right. So it's 36, 1 pound. So essentially that means there's 36 pounds of butter in that case. And then how much do we need for the recipe?
Like the amount, 5. 1 divided by 31.
So 5 1/3 ounces. Okay, cool. So do our units match? No. Can we get our units to match? Awesome. By doing what?
Dividing by the pound, which is 16 ounces.
Okay, so if we divide this by 36 pounds, what do we get? Okay, so $2.55 per pound. Do our units match yet? Nope. So how do we get them to match now? Okay, bye. Cool. And we get what?
1.15.
Is it exactly 0.15?
60.
Okay, so what is it? 0.15. Okay, so we're going to round that up to 16 cents per ounce. Okay. And then what is the decimal form of 5 1/3? Okay. So if we're going to change a fraction into a decimal, we're going to carry down the whole number. Okay. And then if we're not sure of what a fraction is, as far as a decimal, just type it into your calculator. 1 divided by 3, and it gives me 0.333. So I would do 5.333. And it's, of course, it's repeating. So, but usually going to that third decimal place. Okay. So anytime you get some weird fractions, like let's say you have 5/8 of a teaspoon, you just put in 5 divided by 8, and it gives me the decimal form. And that's what I can put into that Chef Tech inventory list if I have to, because the Chef Tech sorry, not Chef Tech, the volume to weight measurements, because that volume to weight measurements is not going to allow fractions. So you have to convert it into a decimal. Okay. So in this case, we didn't have to use it because it was already in ounces. So we're in good shape there. Good question.